So this is for 2.6. So for this one, the first question is just telling us to explain the concept of surplus. So consumer surplus is the difference between what you're willing to pay and what you end up paying. And then producer surplus is the difference between how much the seller received and how much they were willing to sell it for. So number 2 is asking to draw a market graph and explain where does consumer surplus exist and where does producer surplus. So here I have a graph. We have our supply, we have our demand. So where this intersects, you can draw the lines down. And on the lower triangle is a producer surplus. On the top triangle is consumer surplus. Number 3 is asking how do you calculate the area of consumer surplus. So here we can notice the triangle of producer surplus. So we take from 5 to 15. That is the difference of 10 multiplied by the height, which in this case is 30. So 10 times 30 would be 300 for this one. And you also just do the same. And then once you take the 300, since it's a triangle, you divide it by 2, which would be 150. And then you would do the same for consumer surplus. It's the exact same. For number 4, it's asking, explain what happens to consumer surplus and when there's an increase in demand for a product. So say this is a t-shirt company and there's an increase in demand for the product. So here you have your supply stays the same. This is the first demand line. So you can see the dotted lines. So producer surplus and then consumer surplus. So all this is consumer surplus in this first case. And as demand increases, the second line, you have a different dots. So as you can see, the producer surplus shifts upward and the consumer surplus diminishes in size.